Working on some left-handed beaded butterflies and thought I would demonstrate. I have 3 floats left to do here, which is what I'm doing right now before I do the actual butterfly stitch with beads. So I like to spread it a little bit for tension and so that we don't get the hat too tight or the cowl or whatever it is that you're making with this stitch. You're going to bring your yarn forward. I'm doing 5 stitches for each section here. So yarn forward, and then you're going to slip 5. You're going to bring your yarn forward. I like to give a little tug down. It keeps that stitch nice and snug. And then I cross the stitches, spread slightly, and then knit the next 5. Last float here. So once again, yarn forward, slip 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Tug down across your stitches, spread them slightly, knit the next 5. Now we're going to slip the stitch marker here and do some beaded butterflies. Okay, so we're going to do the butterfly on the center stitch, so I'm going to knit 2, and then now I'm going to bring my bead up, and the butterfly stitch goes like this. You're going to take your needle and you're going to go in front of all 5 floats, and you're going to slide your needle up underneath all 5. And then I like to say, pretend they're not there. There's a lot of fabric there, pretend they're not there. And then we're going to simply knit this stitch with a bead. So I'm going to go around like this, and then I'll use my finger back here to help push the bead through the stitch. And then we're going to go back down where we came from and slide all the way underneath all 5 floats again. And if you have noticed, I have not slid my stitch off the needle yet. It gets messy back there. So I like to go back down through the floats and knit the stitch, and we'll knit the stitch and then go back through the floats and come out before I slide it off. I highly recommend this. Please disregard the fingernails. My 5-year-old and I were playing with polished pens. Okay, so now I'm going to knit across this section here. We're going to do another one. So we're going to go in 2 stitches so that we get to that center stitch of the 5. Bring a bead, and then we're going to go all the way down in front of all 5 floats. Shimmy your needle up underneath all 5. Pretend they are not there. Simply knit this stitch with a bead. There's my bead. And then we're going to go, before sliding the stitch off, we're going to go back down under all 5 floats from where we originally came from. Sometimes you have to help the bead. And then slide the stitch off. So let's do another one. So once again, we're going to go in 2 stitches so that we get to that 3rd stitch, which is the center of the 5 stitches we have going here. And then we are going to go all the way down in front of all 5 floats, work our needle up underneath all 5, pretend they're not there, and we're going to simply knit this stitch with a bead. And then before we slide the stitch off, you're going to go back down where you came from with your bead and then slide your stitch off. I'll do one more here with you. I'm in love with this yarn. This is my favorite hat to wear. I've worn the same one for a 1.5 years, so it was time for a new one. So once again, we're going to go into the center stitch of the ones we slipped, which is the 3rd stitch, and we're going to take our needle. Ooh, look at how pretty. We're going to go down in front of all 5 floats and bring the needle up underneath all 5. Pretend they're not there. Let me grab a bead. Pretend they're not there, and then we're going to simply knit that stitch with the bead like that. And before sliding it off the needle, we're going to go back down where we came from, which is underneath all 5 of those floats, and we want to bring our bead through as well, and then slide the stitch off. I know I just said I was going to do one more, but let's do one more again. Sometimes I get going fast. Okay, so back to the center stitch where our floats are. Bring a bead down, and then we are going to go all the way in front of all 5 floats, shimmy our needle up underneath all 5, and then pretend they're not there. And then we're going to knit that stitch with a bead. And then before sliding it off the needles, we're going to go back down where we came from, bring our bead as well, and then slide the stitch off. So there you have it. This is my new Butterflies and Beads hat that I cannot wait to wear. And that's how you do awesome butterflies. Have a great day.